The plant cannabis has been a controversy in society for decades now. The smoking of cannabis is the issue at hand, but the plant's many other uses are ignored, due simply to the fact that one of the many chemical agents in cannabis can get you high. With legalization for recreational use appearing in Colorado and Washington, and even the country of Uruguay, many questions arise, including the side effects and the medicinal values that many states have claimed to base a whole industry off of. Medicinal marijuana started in 1996 with the state of California. Then in 2007, following many other states, New Mexico and Vermont legalized medical marijuana. Senate Bill 523 was made to state the rights and regulations that New Mexico would use and how they would adapt to the changes already set in place in their constitution. Senate Bill 523 states, recent research has shown that the use of marijuana is a medically valuable treatment for a variety of medical conditions, and that state law should make a distinction between medical and non-medical use of marijuana. A practitioner should not be penalized for discussing marijuana as a treatment option for a patient. And finally, a seriously ill patient who engages in medical marijuana use on treating practitioner's advice should not be arrested or incarcerated for violation of drug laws. With so many different viewpoints on the drug and so many different laws and regulations, I wanted to find out more about the medicinal value of the plant, along with the many other questions I had about the medicinal marijuana program here in New Mexico. So I took a visit to local dispensary Minerva Canna Group, where I could learn more about the program.
So we're at Minerva Canna Group, and I'm the owner of Minerva. And what I've done is created a cannabis mall, and it's the most unique model of cannabis distribution probably anywhere in the country. And so what I've done is I've taken this old building and we've remodeled it, and we've created an exceptional cannabis experience. So when patients come in, if they have a grow license, they can come in here and they can buy all their fertilizers, their soils, organic insecticides, grow tents, lights, everything they need to do a grow facility, and grow their own plants. And we'll help them if they have problems. We have classes on how to grow. We have all kinds of flyers and stuff like that. So we lines of fertilizers. We sell Advanced Organics. We sell Humboldt County owned. We've got Botanicare, and then we've got a whole organic soil amendment line of stuff. We also sell little grow tents, drying racks, blowers. This is a little grow tent that somebody could probably put, I don't know, maybe 6 plants in there and grow it inside their house.
How's sales on this particular thing? Really?
Yeah, because they love it, because it's all self-contained. It contains the odor, which is prevalent when you grow cannabis in the flower stage. It becomes very fragrant. And so, yeah, they love these things. They vent them right out their, window or something, and it's great.
Yeah.
And then when they harvest, they cut the bud and dry it, and these types of things. If they're a bigger producer, they grow it in, they dry it in those. But we have, if you look around, we've got fertilizers, the soil, the organic stuff, things that control odors. This will actually suck the odor out of the air.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
This is quite different than what people think about dispensaries, I think. Someone who hasn't been there don't realize how civilized
Yes.
it is.
Yeah, and sophisticated. And what's unique about this particular facility is that in any other facility around the state, if you go into these hydroponic grow shops, you cannot openly talk about growing cannabis. But here, because it's patient related and it's a cannabis dispensary, you can talk openly, and we can have a conversation openly about growing cannabis. So people can bring us their problems. They don't have to disguise it and say, my tomatoes are turning yellow. They can say, my cannabis leaves are turning yellow, and we'll have this discussion as to why and talk to them about how to fix that. But it's the only place in the state you can do that.
And tell me again, why is that the case?
Because we're a medical cannabis dispensary.
But there are other medical cannabis dispensaries.
But they don't have this kind of setup.
Okay.
They don't have this.
Oh, right? Someone else has to go to a nursery or something like that.
Or a nursery, or there's things called hydroponic stores, and they go there. Because the hydroponic stores specialize in fertilizers just for growing cannabis, like we have. but nurseries don't necessarily do that.
Is this the most complete, comprehensive, integrated dispensary in the state?
Probably in the country. Yeah, it's a unique model in the country. We've gotten interviewed from magazines all over the country about this dispensary. We're just coming out in 2 national publications in the next couple of weeks.
Really?
Yeah, it's a pretty unique model.
For pre-order, what were you looking for? Is there anything you were looking for specifically? Currently, for bud, we have Black Dahlia, Blue Dream, Champagne, DePerps, East Coast Sour Diesel, J13 Haze, Ganesh, Harvest Blend, Jack Hare, Kryptonite, Satori, Smooth Operator, and Vanilla Kush. And then we also have like the wax. I believe we've got some.
So this is our dispensary. So we have 4 bud tender stations, and so what happens is when the patient comes up, they're on this side of the counter, and then whatever their medicine needs are, we have it in drawers on this side of the counter. So we can always have a face-to-face contact with them, and all the drawers are different, filled with whatever we're selling for the week. And then we do edibles, and we have a bakery, quite a few different products, and we keep them in a refrigerated display case.
Can I ask you the difference between ingesting, how the effect would be between ingesting and smoking?
So a couple of different effects. First of all, the effect of smoking is almost instantaneous. You smoke, and within 30 seconds, you're going to feel high. Edibles take about 45 minutes to get into your system. The problem is with some people, they take too much. And they take it, and 15, 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later, they go, oh, I don't feel any of that stuff. And then I'm going to eat some more. And then in an hour or 2, they're really having a bad experience because they just have too much THC in their system. Our bakery, we sell to 6 other producers. They give us trim, we process that down into an oil, and then out of the oil, we have it tested. We can find out what the percentage of THC is in it, and then we can formulate that with a matrix that I made up, and I can say, okay, look, we want to make 35 cheesecakes, and we want each cheesecake to have 40 milligrams of THC. And we have an oil that we just produced that has 57% THC. I plug in those 3 numbers, and it just runs the equations, and it tells us, okay, we need 1.75 grams of that oil to go into the batch, stir it all around, and we're pretty sure that every one of these cheesecakes is going to have 40 milligrams of THC in it. Zingy, little, like there's some energy running through your body. It takes the pain away. If you do an indica, there's 2 basic types of cannabis. There's indicas and sativas. The sativas bring you up, the indicas bring you down. If you do an indica before bed, like about an hour, sleep like a baby. If you do sativas, which a lot of people do, they take these or sucker and they just eat on this thing during the day and go to work, and they're medicated and they're not really high, but their pain's gone and their discomfort's gone. So they're very, very popular. Edibles are very, very popular.
So you advise a patient on what they might need, or is it a doctor who will prescribe a 60% indica, 20% sativa, or how does that?
We would rather do that here than the doctors, because we really know more about it than doctors do, because we're dealing with it every day. But we're not doctors, and let's make that perfectly clear. But we know what the strains do. We know what the different effects are by the different strains. And so if somebody comes into us and they say, look, we have chronic pain, we can go, okay, try these. And we'll give you a journal to notate the effects. And then they'll come back in a week or so and they go, okay, I really like this, but I didn't like that, and this one was okay. And so we go, okay, well, if you like that one, try these 3. And so we can steer them and we can funnel it in. And since we grow so many different strains, we grow like 60 different strains. Every week we have 15 different ones. There's a lot of similarities, there's a lot of overlaps in the effect, but when people dial into a certain strain that they want, They always want it. They're always looking for that strain.
And can they expect consistency the next time they buy it?
There's consistency, but it may not be here next week. It may be here in 2 or 3 weeks.
And when you say, do you supply the marijuana? Do you grow?
So in New Mexico, the model is very linear. By law, you have to grow it, process it, package it, and sell it. The only diversion from that is we can buy from different producers. We can buy bud from different producers.
We'll get more into the questions when we sit down for a few minutes. Why don't you tell us what happens, what's the process if a patient comes in?
Okay, patients come in and then they're greeted outside the door by a bud tender who brings them in here, and then they go to a bud tending station and they talk about what their needs are, and then we fulfill that. Then they come up here and the cashiers take care of the rest of it.
So your people
finish the transaction.
What do you call your?
These guys are bud tenders.
They understand.
They understand all of it, and because it's not only bud that we sell. We sell in a couple of different sizes: a 3.5 gram bag and a 1 gram bag somewhere. Do we have 1 gram bags? Yeah. 1 gram bags. We generally have a smaller bag, but they just came back in. We also sell hash. There we go, 1 gram bags.
What's the cost of that?
This is $49 and that's $13. And so we also sell hash. We sell hash caps, which is keef. Then we sell things like earwax, which is really, really strong. You know about earwax? It's a BHO wax, yeah. So we sell this in a gram. And then all the edibles, we sell seeds, we sell tinctures, we sell chocolate bars, teas and coffees, joints, which are really, really popular.
Yeah.
I don't know where that came from.
I saw a picture of a joint that didn't look like any joint I'd seen before.
Right, I'll show you. These are the joints that we roll, and they have a filter on them, and it's about 1 gram of cannabis in there. And we put them in these little things that we call doob tubes, and then patients bring them back and we'll recycle them for them. Then we also sell a premium bud. Do we have any of those? Are these premiums? Yep. We sell these premium buds in these jars, so when people come in, they get not only this big, beautiful bud that weighs about 3.5 grams, but they get it in a nice jar.
And what would that sell for?
$57.50. And we have them available in different strains. We just take the biggest bud and we put them in these jars. And then we sell seed. We sell creams, salves that take the pain away almost instantaneously. We sell trim. This is off where we're harvesting the bud and trimming it up. We'll put trim in here, and then people will take this and make it into butter.
I guess the times certainly are changing, but the idea of being forward about marijuana, unapologetic, not in the closet, but totally out front, and the way that you're presenting it is a fresh way of doing it.
Well,
it's not couched in any sort of language.
It's not. It's and I look at it as this is medicine that's helping people with their lives, and so why shouldn't we be forward about it? Why shouldn't we be open about it? It changes their lives. We have patients that come in here and they go, they're such a mess. They go, I'm on 17 different narcotics. I'm taking this to mask the fact that my blood pressure's gone up from that one, and this one's eating a hole in my stomach, my spleen's filing, and I shake. I got all of these problems, and I've never tried cannabis. So we'll set them up with a number of different things, send them home, give them some information, talk to them as long as they want to about any type of ingestion, anything that they want to know. We'll spend as much time as we want to with them. They'll come back in a couple of weeks or a week, and they'll go, I really like these, didn't like that one, and these 3 were okay. We do that. We'll do that again and again. In a month or 2, they'll come back and they'll go, you know what? I'm on 8 pharmaceuticals now. I've gotten off of this, 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 and this, and this. They'll come back in 3 months and they'll go, you know what? I'm on 1 pharmaceutical and all I do is cannabis. My life is totally changed. If I've got my life back. I can do things I haven't been able to do for years because the narcotics were just knocking them down. And so when we have experiences like that time and time again, why not be open about it? Why not promote such a fabulous product as cannabis?
Yeah, wonderful.
So how long have you owned this place and operated it?
So we got licensed at the very end of 2009, and then I just moved into here in the end of January. So we remodeled it, we painted it, we added all the decals, we had all the furniture custom built. And so we've been operating here since the end of January, but really since the end of February.
Was it hard getting permission and permits to actually make a dispensary and get qualified to run?
Yeah, extremely. I spent a year, when I started to do this, I spent 3 months just researching and writing about cannabis. And I wrote an application to the state. And then I waited 5 months before they responded to me. And they needed some more information. So I spent another month researching and writing on that. And I treated it like a job. I treated it like an 8 to 5 job, 5 days a week. I wrote and researched cannabis. Then I waited another 5 months. And they responded and said, we need a little bit more information on a couple of other points. So I spent another week doing that. At the end, my application was 286 pages long. It was like a massive thesis. Extremely hard. It is definitely, it's kind of like the golden ticket in New Mexico to have a cannabis producer's license. Yeah.
So how would you go about dosing patients in terms of like quantity?
So we tend to start them lower if they don't have any experience with cannabis. We'll try to steer them towards more of the bud and some of the edibles that are lower dosed, so that they get a feeling about how the effects are of edibles as opposed to smoking. And then, as you know, or I don't know if you know this or not, but you can build a tolerance to cannabis. And so as they start to build a tolerance, they'll start to look for the things that are more high in THC. Patients can come, we call this our Minerva Life Store. So patients can come in here and they can get pipes and vaporizers and rolling papers and lighters and grinders and everything they need to consume cannabis. They can also pick up clothing. All this clothing is made out of hemp. So they can, and we have Minerva t-shirts and things like that. But everything except for the Minerva t-shirts, which are made 100% cotton, all this stuff is made out of hemp.
Great.
Which is really cool.
Beautiful. Is this a retail store? Can you come in here if you don't have a prescription or don't have a...
You can, but we don't encourage it. We don't want people just coming off the street to shop in here. We really prefer our patients coming here. And so at these two spots, this Minerva Life Store and Minerva Grow Store, you can purchase without having a patient card. But the next place that we're going to go into, you can't get through the door without a patient card.
It seems that the line is kind of blurred between recreation and medical when kids my age, mostly younger, are thinking about it. For example, there was a kid in my newspaper who was interviewed saying that if medicine doesn't go through a pharmacy, it's not safe.
That's part of that is that old saying is, if you own the news, you can control what people hear and say and believe, and that's part of that. Cannabis is a very safe thing. There's never been one single case of anybody getting cancer from smoking cannabis chronically. It does irritate your lungs if you have emphysema or some type of respiratory disease, so that's why we have alternatives. But there's never been a case where cannabis has affected a person adversely, unlike all the pharmaceuticals. I mean, listen to a pharmaceutical commercial on TV, and at the end where it says it may cause, and it just goes through this listing. It's like, why would I ever take that, right? Cannabis doesn't do any of that. It is the most natural drug, medicine that has ever been.
Minerva was not just a medical marijuana dispensary. The place reminded me more of a pharmacy. Everything was very professional, complete with bouncers and receptionists. But more importantly, Minerva were there to provide for their patients. Every need could be met for any condition you had regarding medical cannabis, and anything that the patients could ask for was there. Anything you needed to grow, to smoke, or to ingest, or to even buy cannabis, you had at your fingertips. Minerva had the knowledge and the products that their patients needed. They also gave me the knowledge about the amazing effects of the plant and how things really work here in our state.